I'm feeling like back when I was in high school. Ready? Okay. What's good? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? To say that I'm excited is a gross understatement, but it's just the best word I have for right now. Just give me 2 seconds. I am posting this video inside of the group. Don't know if anybody will be able to join me live streaming. And yes, I'm going ahead and leaving this video public because the people in YouTube need to know what's going on. We are literally just days away from the Authentic Collective Summit kicking off. This year's theme is Worthy of Abundance, and we're talking about receiving abundance in all areas of your life. And unlike other summits, a tradition, a standard that has been set with my summits is to make sure that you have one of the most critical tools ever, to make sure that this becomes a truly transformational event. And that is the workbook. And I'm not going to take a long time describing everything to you guys, but I really do want you to understand how powerful this is. The speakers have already gotten a sneak peek at it. You're going to be able to see it. And I'm putting it in a group now because it is just under 100 pages long. But I have a lot of people, that like to maybe run the Office Depot, or you got a pretty sophisticated printer at home that like to actually print out the workbook. And so the bottom line is this. Listening to someone's story about faith can be very impacting. However, you won't necessarily internalize it if you can't really relate it to what you're going through. You know how they say you need to take notes because when you listen to things, you're only going to retain about 5% of what you hear. Well, in order for you to actually use what you've heard to be able to convert it, you need to give it some level of relatability. So if I'm telling a story about walking away from my husband, leaving everything behind, starting with small children, if you're in a happy marriage and, you're like, ooh, yeah, child, she went through some stuff and oh man, I'm glad she came out of it. But you could get so engrossed in the details of another sister's story that you're not capitalizing on the opportunity to learn what it really means to have faith beyond measure. So there are questions that I strategically ask based on the principles that are discussed, not necessarily the exact issue. And so here's my suggestion to everyone. Time is definitely not something that is on everybody's side to the same advantage. Some of us are building businesses and working jobs. Some of us are taking care of loved ones while we're working a business, or, all kinds of stuff is going on right now in this moment. But I want you to remember why this summit was created. It was created not only to help you facilitate your healing, but also to facilitate healing in our community, and then ultimately for that to expand outside of us. And that means that I want you to. You might not be able to, block off your calendar and treat this as if you were out of town. A lot of people do, though, and go through each video for all 3 days or as many of them as you can and knock it all out. But I do want you to put it in your intention to listen to each and every interview. And here's the reason why. Because we're not just here to understand our story, to get our healing. We are also here to make sure that we're understanding other kings and queens, that we're hearing them, that we're doing that role reversal thing. Where my conflict mediators at? We're doing that role reversal thing so that we can understand where they're coming from with their story, so we can do a better job at being more sensitive to others. So we're here to heal and to learn. And the only way you're going to become more sensitive to another's brother or sister's struggle is for you to start listening. And a lot of us, we just have to admit, we don't do a very good job of listening. We can be down in the dumps saying what we got going on. And so I would encourage you to look at the topics. If you've got to make time because time is limited, then listen to the ones that are dealing with areas that you're specifically struggling with. But come back around to listen to those other sisters, because trust me, there's a lesson in all of them. Another thing I'll say is this. Some of you, if you just look at the workbook and you haven't looked at the videos, you might be like, some of these questions kind of look the same. A couple of them, with the exception of maybe a few words, are about the same. But remember, the power in the workbook and the power in the summit is that you can't look at the videos by themselves and you can't look at the questions by themselves. There will be triggers and things will get fired up in you based on the context of what's going on. So the same question that you answered earlier, you may have a completely different answer for it tomorrow when you hear it in the context of someone else's story, because it may hit you a little bit harder, or it may have needed just a little bit more time to, to ruminate in your conscience before it actually, had some kind of effect and had you thinking a little bit deeper without you even realizing. So just please understand, while some of these questions are very simplistic, they definitely came from a place that I won't even try to take 100% credit for. I won't. Because sometimes I go back and I look at the questions myself and I'm like, dang, that's a deep question. But it's something about being in flow. When you're doing this work that you do, that infinite knowledge and wisdom that comes to you, a lot of times I'm it's just like, even when I'm speaking, sometimes I get in that flow. And if I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but I go back and I watch my own videos. I need to take notes sometimes. I'll be like, that's a powerful statement. I probably ought to write that down. And when I have those kind of moments, that's not necessarily really me basking in my own genius. That's me saying, oh, I just had a powerful moment. God just said something really deep to me. I need to write that down. And so that's a lot. That's where a lot of my core philosophies and principles come from. So I just want to say this with, the highest level of love, that what's about to happen, I'm going to be honest with you all, I haven't got a clue. Other than the fact that I know that profound healing and transformation is about to happen starting off on August the 3rd. Starting off on August the 3rd, because there's something supernatural that's going on right now, that the timing of this was not me. The timing of this was not me. And so there's something in the atmosphere with the commitment of the queens that are here. So please just know this. If you're watching this video and you're feeling that what do you call it? That enthusiasm, that your intuition is high and excited like mine. As of right now, there are still, this is as of right now, meaning 9 o'clock on August the 3rd, there are still now two sponsored passes. If you know there's a queen that needs to be here, or a king that needs to be here, but they may be financially challenged, literally all you have to do is message me. You can send me, somebody did it earlier, connected me on Messenger, did a group message. All I'm going to ask for is their name and their email, and I'm going to send them to them, and give them the information that they need for them to be able to sign up. And so the only other thing I'll say is this: for everybody, Saturdays are not flexible. They're not. But for those of you that can make the decision, if you had to pick one day where you would allow yourself to be open and to be free, I would say make it Saturday. I've already put a schedule inside of the group so that you can see which speakers will be available at which times. All times are in Eastern Standard. All times are in Eastern Standard Time. So you have to do the conversion. I apologize. I'll get better with adding the conversions for everybody else. But having that moment to be at the live panel discussions, it doesn't even make a difference if you've heard the interviews or not. There could be some things on your mind just based on the subject matter. You're going to come and talk. You will not be on camera. You will be allowed to be unmuted if you would like to verbally express yourself, or you can type in the comments. But that would be the day that you want to make the ultimate sacrifice. And so I know for me personally, as a business owner, I want to just work, and grind, and build my business. But this right here is one of those moments where every year I am very gracious for the pause, very, very graciously appreciative for the moment to pause, because there's a direct correlation with your success and your healing. It just really is. And a lot of people can camouflage the success, but camouflaging pain with success is a recipe for a disaster. Okay. And we're not here for that. We are here to be abundant in all areas: mentally, physically, emotionally, relationships, the whole nine. So I am, once I get off of here, going to make sure that the link to download the PDF is on this video. that it is also on all of the other posts, because I will be going on a rampage starting tonight, since some of these people are in different time zones, and reaching out to individuals that have not, because quite a few people have signed up but have not registered to be inside of this group yet. And so when they see those posts, I want them to be able to download their workbook. And I'll also put a special post up that says that the workbook is ready. If you all have any questions, put them at the bottom of this video. Private message me here in the group. If you're connected to me on other platforms, I do a good job of limiting what I have on my schedule and keeping myself as accessible as possible. The only other thing that I would say is that sometimes it seems like technology and triggers all come at once. I do a really good job of responding to people. And so, for any reason I'm a little bit slow, let's believe that there's an error on the side of technology, and just shoot me, August. Did you get this? Did you hear it? Yes, I am. Unfortunately, some people agree, disagree. There are great reasons why. At this season of my life, I still am. I am a one woman show. Okay, I am. I have friends and I have support. Like my friend edited the workbook for me, but please understand. I move very zealously and I work to have a great customer service. But if I err or flaw in any ways, just be patient for 2 seconds, because I am doing this on my own. So, other than that, the fifth is around the corner. The first interview is around the corner. If you aren't excited, you need to get excited. All right? This is.